Welcome to Who Wants to Be an Entrepreneur with Nancy Gaskins, where we teach everyday people how to create, fund, and live a life worth smiling and talking about. I believe one of the best ways to do that is by becoming an entrepreneur. My name is Nancy Gaskins, and I am your host. All our shows are recorded and archived so you can listen and learn online 24/7 all year long. You can find us on all your favorite social media channels such as Facebook, Instagram, and of course, all your favorite podcast platforms. There's never been a better time than right now to consider owning and operating your own business. This current COVID crisis really opened up a lot of people's eyes to just how vulnerable that they were to have to rely on only one stream of income. Home-based business opportunities and the word multiple streams of income are two very hot topics right now, top of the Google searches, because people are looking for options like never before. And in fact, it's not just multiple streams of income, it's multiple streams of passive income. There's a big difference. So I've decided to do a little something different this fall. I'm teaming up with a wide variety of entrepreneurs from all over the globe. We'll be discussing their journeys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. These are real people, just like you and I, everyday entrepreneurs who've agreed to share their stories in hopes of inspiring, encouraging all the listeners to follow their hearts. And we hope that that'll lead to you becoming an entrepreneur. Now, mind you, it's not always sunshine and roses, and we can't guarantee you that you're going to be putting $1 million in the bank. But for most of us, the lifestyle, it's full of potential and possibilities. And for all of us, there's no way hardly to put a price tag on that. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here before we get started. Did you know that 48% of Americans have the dream to own and operate their own business? I'm sure it's probably the same worldwide. 51% who launch are over the age of 50. 69% start their businesses from home. And the average startup is only $10,000. Unfortunately, for some people, $10,000 may well as be $1 million because they just don't have it. So what's these four statistics tell you? Think about it. I tell you what it tells me. It spells opportunity. There's opportunity out there for everyday people. You don't have to wait to get started. If you've got that dream inside your heart, I encourage you, your someday has arrived. Do you have a dream to start your own business someday? Guess what? Someday is here. So today you're going to meet my new friend, Claudio, our Worldventures travel guy. Claudio is a serial entrepreneur with a vision for creating financial freedom by building residual income in the network marketing industry. He spent 22 years working in the paint industry only to be forced to retire from it 5 years ago due to health concerns. Thankfully, he had already begun to create his plan B in the network marketing space, which with the help of some timely investments in real estate, allowed him to transition a lot more smoothly. Now he spends his days helping others enjoy life by being able to travel more for less and put smiles on everybody's faces. Now I met Claudio at a not a network marketing event. What am I talking about? Virtual marketplace event. And instantly fell in love with him. He's got a great personality, a great story, and I happen to also love the company that he's here to represent today. So welcome to the show, Claudio.
Thank you, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be on here with you.
So take a few minutes and share your story, share your journey, how it was that you become an entrepreneur.
Well, it actually started back in my early 20s when I was introduced to the concept of residual income and, the financial freedom and that lifestyle and everything. And, there was a couple of companies that I had tried, but back then things were different. They weren't really regulated as much as they were now. And it was difficult. Everybody was kind of, the people that had the most success were all go-getters. And if you weren't that ambitious and that aggressive, you really didn't have much success. And so I got out of it for quite a while. And I think it was about 8 years ago when my wife actually was at work and overheard a coworker talking about how this amazing coffee with this special herb inside of it helped her dad deal with some knee pains that he had. I had the same issues. So she overheard, got introduced to it, and I fell back into the ring again. And ever since then, I've tried a couple of companies and just never really found that one that, that clicked with me until I came across Worldventures. And that was about 3.5 years ago. I fell in love with the culture. The founder is a very unique and very humble and spiritual person. He is really a gem. And what better way to put smile on people's faces than have them save money on travel?
I agree. Some of the coolest things that I've learned about Worldventures is they were primed and pumped and ready to pivot. And this is one of the problems that a lot of businesses face. They weren't ready. Either they were all the way like brick and mortar or all the way online, and there was no way for them to pivot. And I thought it was really interesting what Worldventures did. So would you share with us how they opted to pivot and how that's helping some of your clients right now?
Well, what they did was, I mean, we all know that travel right now is basically at a standstill. There are actually some people going on some trips, so there are some available, but the majority of them have not been able to travel because of the company they live in, or the country they live in, or the country they want to go to. So what we've done is we've introduced a series of what we call 24-karat deals, like this one behind me, and they're a case where you can actually purchase the trip now and not have to travel for up to 30 months later. So I took advantage of this one actually behind me, which is the AAA 4-diamond resort in Playa del Carmen, and I'll be traveling here in March. And if things haven't really settled down with the COVID yet, as long as I do it 14 days before my departure date, I can actually change the date and or the location if I want. So there's a lot of flexibility there, but it allows me to take advantage of some incredible savings. I mean, this trip here originally in Canadian dollars was about $5,029. We paid $1,372. I saved $3,600 on a 1-week stay at an all-inclusive 4-diamond resort. So, we've had so many trips being sold now, and it's giving people hope. It's giving people something to look forward to. And that's what I really appreciate the most.
Love that. One of the other things that I also love about Worldventures is not only now, most people have, when you ask them what's one of their top bucket list items for their life, and they're going to say, I want to travel more. Nearly everybody, I would say probably 99.9% of everybody you ask, they would say, I want to travel more. And so the next question that I always ask, well, why are you not traveling? And the number one reason, actually there's two: time and money. So one of the wonderful things that Worldventures does, it gives you the opportunity to not only save a ton of money on these trips, but you can actually make some money. So you want to talk about the opportunity just for a second and tell people how they can make some money by joining your team?
Yeah, well, we have an incredible compensation plan, and there's so many different levels that you can earn money on. There's a lot of quick start bonuses, but the best thing is if you work hard at it, and the one key component is never quit. I know so many people in the organization that have been around that struggled for the first 2 to 3 years and are now earning $2 to $3 million a year. So it's really endless, the opportunity. And how great is it when somebody comes up to you and asks you, what is it you do? Well, I get paid to travel. I mean, is that not a great feeling? And yeah, it's and we're encouraging everyone else to do the same thing.
And you've got a great new tagline too. You want to tell them about the champagne taste? I love that.
Yeah, I can show you how you can live a champagne lifestyle on a beer can budget, which will allow you to travel more for less. I love that.
I do too. I think that is fantastic. So we're going to put all your links and all those different things up there for you so that you guys can contact Claudio. Do you have any other things that you'd like to share about Worldventures or the company before we get started on sharing some tips for entrepreneurs?
Well, the way our company is structured is we started with 1 membership when we first started, and now we've grown to 4. And what that does is allows people to get into a membership that best suits them. So whether you're a business owner that only travels and stays at hotels, or whether you're a high-end executive or business owner that loves nothing but the best and wants, these elite experiences, we have those and everything in between. So it's great for basically anybody that loves to travel, whether you're traveling once a year, whether you're traveling 10 times a year, there's something for everybody.
And families too. This is not, like you said, they've got all these wonderful different levels. And one of the cool things that I loved was their marketing and branding. I don't know if you have your sign there, you can pull that up, but this was one of the best branding opportunities that I have ever seen before. One side said, "You should be here." The other sign said, "Wish you were here." And so what they were doing is reps all over the world, when they would go on these dream trips, they would be posting their pictures all over their social media. And man, that caught on almost, Claudio. It's almost there. It was just fantastic. And I just thought, boy, that was an ingenious marketing plan. So when you guys see those little blue signs that says, "Wish you were here" or "You should be here," you'll know that you're seeing a Worldventures family there.
A funny story, the way that got started, which I didn't know this until just recently, actually, is a lady was actually on one of our dream trips, and she took a piece of cardboard and wrote up, "You should be here," and held that in front of it, and took a picture of it and posted on social media. And the company saw it, and it went viral, and they took it in, and now we have these signs, and we have just about all, anything, from T-shirts to pens that say "You should be here." So it's a great marketing tool, like you said.
Love that. Love that. So let's get in the trenches for just a minute. A lot of people who are listening will be aspiring, emerging, or seasoned entrepreneurs. They're at every level of their journey, and they may have zero experience all the way up to this is a lifetime lifestyle of being an entrepreneur. So I'm asking everybody to share some tips with our listeners. So what would be some advice that you'd give somebody that's interested or thinking about or have had the dream to become an entrepreneur? What do you think some of the keys to success would be?
Well, as I kind of touched on it before, I'll just tell you a quick story. One of our top earners, he's actually in the top 3 of the company. What we need to do, obviously, is show people the products that we have and get people to want to travel and join one of our memberships. So that's how we earn our commissions. Now, this gentleman here, in his first 2 years, only managed to get 2 people to join one of the memberships. And he had so many, there were so many times where he wanted to quit. He says, "No, this isn't for me. It's all a big hoax. You can't make money on it." He stuck with it, and he now has 100 people in his organization at the top level. So he literally has hundreds of thousands of people on his team making anywhere from $2 to $3 million a year. So that's one of the keys. I mean, these businesses are not get rich quick schemes.
Yes.
They all have certain setups, certain systems that you follow. If you follow the system and you use the support that you have available, you will succeed as long as you don't quit. It may take you a year, it may take you 10 years, but with all the help that you get from above, I can pick up my phone and call $1 million earner anytime at all, and he'll answer. If he doesn't answer right away, he'll get right back to me. So the support is really endless with this company.
One of the best things that I think in direct sales companies is that personal and professional development that you get and the mentorship. I'm telling you, you can't put a price tag on that. And that's people who have been there, done that, got the T-shirt for it. And like you said, I love that you mentioned earlier about how much the industry has changed. If it wasn't for Eric Worre and some of those people who really have blazed the trails and they put in associations to protect us, and they've really made it a career that you can be proud and say. People used to be skeptical, wouldn't even tell you what business they were in for fear of retribution from folks. "Oh, you're in one of those pyramid schemes." Well, no. Yeah. Now we've learned to say, well, guess what? If you're working in the corporate world, you're also working in one of those pyramid schemes, because you've got a CEO at the top and you got a manager above you, right? And you got employees, minions down below. So what's the difference here? And the other thing that I love is if you follow the system, that some of them have it set up like a 10-year career path. Well, you can't do that out there in the corporate world, generally speaking, but it's a numbers game. Some will, some won't, some, next. Yep. And you have to realize that, and you have to develop a little thick skin. And there's enough. One of the things that I do every year in July is I talk about the top 100 direct sales companies, and Worldventures has been on that list every single year for a long time running now, and they continuously to top the charts. And that says a lot about the company and about the leadership and everything, because otherwise these companies come and go and they're a dime a dozen because they don't have the right infrastructure, don't have the right leadership in place, and all of those things. And so that's something for you to watch out for as well. So if you see one of these businesses that's been around for a long time, guess what? That's one that you really should pay attention to. And again, travel, that is at the top. That's one of the, it might be the leading industry. I can't remember what the last number was that I got, but travel's at the top. One of the top ones for the moneymaker for our GDP in the world, not just in the United States or, Canada, but all over the world. People love to travel and they love to have their holidays. So you can't go wrong, when you're talking that industry. So we've got that mentorship, obviously, because if you're using your upline, that's what we call that. And what is something that perhaps that now that you wish you'd known back then when you first got started? Obviously, there's been some people that Blaze Some Trails has made the industry better, but can you think of anything else that maybe you wished you'd have started a little bit sooner than what you did now to kind of gain momentum?
I am one of those procrastinators. I have changed a lot because I've done a lot of personal development. One of the strongest keys to having success in this kind of business, and the tagline is, the fortune is in the follow-up. It is so important to follow up. 80% of all sales are made between the 5th and 12th follow-up. So it's, you got to be persistent. You don't want to badger people, but you got to make sure that, until people actually say, no, thank you, I am not interested at all, just keep sending them gentle reminders, and make them further apart as you go along. But, I've had cases where people there's one lady I was just talking to the other day that I've known her for over a year. And she's known about Worldventures. She knows about what the opportunity is. She travels a lot, but she was so focused on another company that she really had no interest in joining anything else. Well, now she's backed off of that company for various reasons, and now she's seriously looking at us for another opportunity. So it could happen even, years later. So never give up on them. Just make sure you continue to follow up, and
that's a key component right there that you just brought up. You need a CRM, customer relationship management program, that you can put those little drip campaigns in so that people don't fall through the cracks, and you have something set up where you continuously, like you said, stay top of mind. It may not be no, it may be not right now. And so that's great thing. And like you said, that follow up, everybody, you go to these networking events, and unfortunately what most people do is they walk away and they say, I'll get to it later. And then that later never comes. So especially in this game, quality referrals is the name of the game. So the more people that you can get in front of, the more people that understand what it is that you do, the more referral partners and all those things is going to be critical for you to get success in this. So Claudio, do you have any special offers or anything for our listeners today?
Well, for anybody that wants to learn a little bit more, it's not as easy as just saying, well, check out this website. So what I love to do is I offer a 1-hour complimentary discovery call where I will ask you a couple of questions just to get a feel for what type of travel you like to do, whether it's business related or personal or both. And that way I can kind of pinpoint what would best suit you. And then you can make that decision from there. I can show you some of the incredible savings that we have on some of the trips, things that are only really for the eyes of members, for the members only, but I will allow you to see that so you can make an educated decision on whether it's worth your while or not to join.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And you want to give them your website or your email address right quick?
Yep. My email address is claudio@letscreatewealth.ca. That's all one word, Let's Create Wealth. My phone number, you can call me on my cell or leave me a text message at 416-779-7661. Or you can go right ahead and schedule a discovery call on my scheduling link at which is calendly.com/Claudio24. And I'd be happy to have a meeting with you and chat, and we'll see how I can help you out.
I will put all your links also on the episode. So for anybody who wants to get a hold of Claudio, they can. Again, thank you, Claudio, for joining us today. Claudio is hashtag the travel guy. So he's your guy for anything travel. So whether you're a family, whether you're a business where you want elite treatment, or whether you're just an everyday person who just wants to go on vacation every once in a while, Claudio can hook you up. So join us next time as we begin to explore a little further into the wonderful world of entrepreneurship. We offer tips and advice on how to build a sustainable business model, because that's very important. We want you to be able to have a model that can fund the life of your dreams. For those who are already in business, we're going to help you discover even more creative ways that you can grow your business. So tune in and learn how to avoid some of the most common pitfalls, and we'll be answering some of your most pressing entrepreneurial questions. You can text those questions in to me personally at 850-499-7149, and we'll answer them in an upcoming show. You've been listening to Who Wants to Be an Entrepreneur with Nancy Gaskins, where we teach everyday people to create, fund, and live a life worth smiling and talking about. We just believe the best way to do that is by becoming an entrepreneur. Thanks again, Claudio. It was great having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for having me on.